And here we are for the next round. I think this deck wants to play first. Like, there's an argument for just drawing and sealed anyway, but I think this deck wants to play. This hand is pretty bad, though. Like, on the draw, I keep it every time, but I don't think I can here. It's liking an accelerant or a 2-drop and 2 colors of mana. That one's just bad. This I can get behind because it does at least have the accelerants. We need to draw into some green. We can stop early aggression and basically play anything we top deck, which is not super exciting. A Saddleback Lagak turns these guys into 1/2s, which is also pretty bad, but we'll take it. Oh, Elemental Uprising. We'll keep. Yeah, we'll take a... I don't want a forest, but I need a forest. Pretty far away from casting like a Plated Crusher or something like that. I don't think we really ever want a hand that includes 2 Hedron Crawlers, but that is part of what we're doing here. Again, solid top decks could get us out of this. Also, our opponent could help somewhat by playing like a elf dude next turn that we want to kill and let us get some value off of the Uprising. I don't really care about that. I can reality hemorrhage it. It's just a 2/2 right now. Do I want a Lagak now? I think I'd rather make my other dudes into 1/2s and leave up the hemorrhage if we need it. Like, we're going to have to squeak out some advantage this game because of our mulligan and because we're playing 0/1s. God, boiling... Imagine if they go Mountain Boiling Earth. It's just game over, man. I think I can kill this now, although I'm in the awkward spot of if I do and they have a trick, we're in trouble. I'll probably kill it end of turn if they don't present a better target. If I was going to do that, I should have just done it last turn, but like they could play a 3/1 here or something. There's a lot of 2/3s in this set. Oath of Gideon. All right. I think that means I do kill this end of turn. And then probably get my Saddleback Lagak on. Unless we draw something huge. Alright, so you make a 4/4. I can play an additional land, but it doesn't actually do much for me. I can play it off of these. I still can't activate it. But making this a 5/5 is probably better than doing anything else I can do right now. So we'll play out Mina and Din, Wildborn. I can see making a 5/5 being a pretty big deal. Means they at least have to trade a token for it if they've got like a Reproach or something. We can pretty easily give it trample if we decide that's the thing we need. Makes me glad I got rid of the Stalking Drone too. Don't smite me, bro. Although I guess if they're gonna smite it, I'd rather them do it now before I put a counter on it. Dink. Okay. Well, like I said, that wasn't great, but 'tis what it is. We are no longer the aggressor. I understand that. And our hand is pretty sad. I can play this in attack for 2. That doesn't do a whole lot. I guess it keeps them swinging back, so if they play something I can nab with an Uprising, I'm pretty happy about that. Like, typically, I don't want to encourage a race. And the chances are they attack with 1 token and leave 1 back. But the chance that they attack with both and then play like a, I don't know, a 3/3 are significant enough that I'm going to take this line. This doesn't look like a 3-3. Although, to be fair, we could also hit our Nisses, blow your dudes up, and having counters on things is helpful there. Alright. Like, that turns one of their dudes into a 2-2. So I don't love it. It would let us hit for 5 if we want to do it, but it leaves them with a much better board state than we have. Although, I don't think I have much of an option right now. Because I ain't getting through that otherwise. So maybe giving him a 2-2 is exactly what I want to do. I don't need to play this right now because I do have other cards that do things in the deck. Landfall. Alright. So I guess we're racing. We'll probably stop racing after this turn, but I just want to get that thing off the table. I guess that means I could leave these back to not take the 2 there, or to threaten to double block that guy, but I think I'm fine trading 5 for 4. Am I really, though? Yeah, I don't think I am. I'll leave these 2 back, and let's slow this down a little bit. Like, you do get your Seed Guardian value. And if he's got the 1 green combat trick, this would be an awful place for us to see it. But we can even conceivably double block it, which is tempting. It is a bit tempting. Warcaller, well, that hardly seems fair. Looks like we're going to 4, ladies and gentlemen. Fortunately, red-green isn't known for their... or red-green. White-green isn't known for their reach. But that hurts. So does drawing the land. But this is sometimes a problem that happens with mediocre ramp dot deck, in that you ramp into nothing, which is kind of what we've done. We're kind of dead to anything here. Because if they're able to kill the Saddleback, we'd have to block here, chump here, and then they've still got 4 power to our nothing, and we're at 2, meaning all of their stuff is lethal. That said, they could have lands in hand. I have a tendency not to scoop until you're actually dead. Like, at that point, you can pick up your cards. Prior to that, you should keep playing Magic. Unless time is like a super factor, I get that, but I don't double queue. I've tried it before. It's bad for me. It's bad for my opponent. It's bad for the stream or the recording if I'm recording. It's just not something that is pleasing. We could cast a Plated Crusher if we drew one. I just don't think it stops all of the horrible things that are happening here. So many bad things. Also, now that we know they have the Warcaller, we know not to get super aggressive. If they attack, I'm going to make the most advantageous blocks and take 2. It puts me dead to a lot of combat tricks, but I don't think I win the game without that. So we'd probably eat the 2 tokens and trade for the Warcaller. And then if they've got like Lithomancer's Focus or Swell of Growth or whatever, they win. But if they don't, we can still play Magic. Undo Rising, I think, does it because it puts us in Chumposaurus Rex mode. But we'll still see what we can do. Just those? You should totally do that. I mean, this is... Don't mistake this for good for us. It is not. But there do exist cards in Magic that could get us out of this. We just have to draw one of them, which we don't have. But I'm going to go to 2 and keep a dude on the table. Eat a land. So all we need to do is draw a Boiling Earth, which we don't have. Sure Strike doesn't do it. So I think we just pass here and let him kill us. Again, scooping lets your opponent know you don't have a particular out. And you may as well make them expend the mental energy to wonder if there's a fog in the format, or give them a chance to show you another card. Like whatever our opponent's playing here is something else we can know about for sideboarding. Alright, so they're green-white allies. Which is acceptable. Alright, so against green-white allies, what do we want to do? Well, I still like the basic plan behind the deck. We're going to go on the play again, so I think I still like most of what's going on here. Like, our plan is to try to get big dudes out faster. This may be the one spot where I would want the blue instead, where we take on a more controlling role. I don't think we need to consider splashing. Like, we obviously had a bad draw there. That's just a thing that can happen. I guess with Titan's Presence we can exile walls, but meh. Meh. We might could get some use out of the walls of Resurgence and try to do like have a few flyers in the deck. We'd get a Smite of our own, Isolation Zone. Like, I feel like the red's almost as good. Let's take a look at a green-white deck of our own and see if I think I like that better. Or we could side into the red-black. You know, if I'm going to do that, doing it on the play would be the time to do it. And then we potentially side back into the green. I'll see if I've got time to put this together. If I don't, and we just end up running the same deck back again, that's not terrible either. But this deck would run these things, not dutiful returned. Oop. Run the Tar Snares, which kill a lot of his stuff. The Shrieker, the Depleter, and the Sludge Crawler. We'd also get the Dune Stalker. And we'd run Titan's Presence. Then we'd run... we've got room for one more card. What would it be? Probably a Warden. Just to give us lots of sources of extra mana. I don't love the Sure Strike in this deck either, but... You know what, heck, let's try this. Let's try this. It's worth knowing if this deck is better anyway. I'm not convinced that it is. I kind of feel like we have to play green because of the Judgment. But this might just be aggressive enough to stop them. And the Tar Snare does kill a lot of their stuff. Let's give it a shot. I'll probably side back into the green after this game, but yeah, let's play first. This hand has some potential in that it's got the Vile Aggregate, which is probably one of our better cards in this matchup. It has to hit a land, but I think if it does, it's okay. Like going Aggregate into Aggressor into Duststalker is a pretty good turn, plus the Aggregate could enable the Mindraker. I'm going to keep it, although it's really questionable. Like if we hit a Swamp, I'm a genius. If we hit a Mountain, we get to play Magic. If we hit neither of those, we don't, like, game's over. But I think with this hand on the play, it's probably worth that risk. We could potentially be attacking for 4 as early as turn 3. Alright, so we get to play Magic. Our opponent doesn't know we've switched decks yet, which is basically worthless in terms of value, but, you know, here we are. They've got a 2/2. We just don't care about that at all. Because Aggie will take care of that. Alright, so best draw in the deck now is that Swamp. But even if we don't hit it, next turn's going to be good. So we've got 2 turns to hit a Swamp before we're kind of in trouble. And our opponent missed a land drop. Now, if they've got Gideon's Reproach here, they've got a 2-for-1 themselves to stop our Aggregate. And if they do, it still leaves us with a 2/3. I kind of think they don't have anything, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so we got our ingest value hitting a land. So again, Swamp would be good. Or Crumbling Visage, but basically I think Swamp's the best card in the deck for us right now. But I like our scenario when we're both stuck on low lands and we're hitting for 4 and they're hitting for 2. Like, it gets better for us. The longer the game goes. There's a Swamp. Just going to try to close this out as fast as I can. And Duststalker certainly does that. Most tilting thing about ingest is needing lands and seeing them get sweeped like that. Also, don't really think we have enough allies to be running that Chain Mage. I didn't quite do a count, but we're short playables, so here we are. I also don't think there's much our opponent can do to get out of this, but I guess we'll see. A 3-1? Sure. Like, if we kill that, they just die, so I think we do that. That puts them into chumping and then pretty much being done. So the black-red actually played out well there as aggressive. How many allies do we have for this Chain Mage? We've got the Shatterskull Recruit, which kind of wants to be attacking. And I think that's actually it. So if we want to try this again, like, what I'd really like to do is trade these in for Bronze Sables. If we could do that, we'd be in good shape. We can't do that. I could consider a Bone Saw, but I don't think that's exactly what we're looking for. I have the fixing to splash a blue card if I want it. There's just not anything worth splashing. Like, running the Cohort would be okay. I guess Colostra Healer is another ally that goes with our Chain Mage, but like, that just seems miserable. I think that was the best draw this deck can ever have, whereas the green one probably has better draws. So let's load that. And then consider if we want to make any sideboard decisions. Like, yeah, we owned it with that one because our opponent got mana screwed. We can't expect that to happen in most games. I kind of want to cut a 5-drop and bring in something smaller, but again, there's just not a lot of options for this deck. Maybe our best hope is the black-red, because it at least is capable of aggressive draws. Yeah, I think I'm going to just run that back. It feels weird, but because I'm not entirely convinced that it's better. It's just a thing we can do. What were my other cards? Starting to run a bit low on time. Sludge Crawler was in there. And then what? Not a Reckless Cohort. Did we just play the Warden? Yeah, I think we did. And then Vestige. And went 8-9 on lands. That means there's one too many of something, and supposed to be one other dude in here. And I have 23 seconds to find it. Titan's Presence. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we actually want one more Swamp. Alright, we'll run this back just because it has aggressive draws and removal for little dudes, but I still think the green deck is better in that it has better late game, but because our opponent's playing something aggressive, I think I want this. Now, in the draw, I feel pretty comfortable keeping this. That doesn't mean that it will be good. Like last game, we had something that was good. I do have to hit the lands. This one's not as explosive if I do, but it's still keepable. We've got the Titan's Presence to basically get rid of a 2-power thing, which a lot of his things are 2-powered, so that helps. We also have some 3-power stuff that can interact with it. The problem is we'd have to draw that, and we'd really rather draw just like 2 lands with this hand. 2 lands and then no more, and I think this hand's actually pretty good. All right. Hey, look, we got lands. I like lands. I think we'd still run out Aggie first. Reality Hemorrhage would probably be good against whatever's getting played here. I expect it to be one of those drones or just a kitty. It's not great, but it's a cat. Duststalker is a fine card. It basically turns our Titan's Presence into kill anything you want to kill as long as we don't play it yet. I think we run out the aggregate first, but we'll see what gets played here. If it's a druid, there's some argument to killing it. I still don't know if I can do that, especially when we could get back up in mana with the Titan's Presence, but we'll see. Sifter's not bad. We do need to hit 1 more land. Aggregate can't actually threaten to block any of that, so I may just want to play the 2/3 here, because that at least stops the attacks for a moment. Like if they want to use a trick or a removal spell on this, go ahead. It's basically a 2/3 at this point. Alright, so you got a tappy ally. That's not really a big deal. Another land. So my options include but are not limited to playing the Warden of Geometries or doing something that's just obviously worse. So let's just keep making 2/3s. Like the only thing we're fairly worried about would be his Munda's Vanguard, and we've got multiple answers for that. Opponent's also down to 2 cards, so we can sort of start to do things here. Aggregate would be fine as an attacker. Well, there's Munda's Vanguard, so our next turn is killing that, because that sitting here is just going to be bad. I think our opponent should have upkeep tapped our Warden of Geometries with the Spawnbinder Mage, because that would have been pretty bad for us. So I can play 2/3s, which means I can Titan's Presence this and get out Aggie. I don't hate that, and I don't care if they know we have a Sifter of Skulls coming. So let's do that. Let's get rid of you. And then play Aggie. And that puts us in a decent position. Also of note, Aggie can't be smited at this point. We've still got a removal spell for something big. So I feel like we're doing okay. Isolation Zone, presumably for Aggie. Do you want to attack? I would like it if you did. So now we've got, I'd rather not run the Duststalker out just yet. We can just play the Sifter and pass with the Drain up. And that lets me potentially play the Duststalker next turn and get a swing in. I may want to wait and play it post-combat after attacking with this, because a double block starts to look pretty attractive, and that makes Stone Fury look pretty good. But for now, we'll just sit and do some draining. It also potentially gives us value if they kill any of our stuff, so that is acceptable. Spiders, sure. Alright. Well, we've got a clock now. Doing that after combat and after they've tapped mana, so we don't have to worry about a thing that does a thing. You know the card I'm talking about. The one that kills tapped creatures, Sheer Drop. That's the thing that does the thing. So I want 9 mana, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't have 8. I don't have all of it. So we can play the Duststalker and then not attack with it, which kind of signals, hey, I got a trick. But I do. We could also attack in and see if they want to trade this for it, because I'd probably like that dead, but the fact that this just gets so much better when we draw a combat trick means I kind of just want to play it and pass. Like, we'll attack next turn when I can actually Stone Fury something. If they smite it, at least we get a Scion. Which is, again, not ideal, but we'll take it. Dink. Alright. Get in there, Duststalker. We can potentially eat a guy depending on how they block. I think they probably just jam this in front of it, but... So do I care about getting a 2-for-1, or am I happy to just kill those? I kind of... Like, what's their last card? A combat trick? Kind of feel like Stone Fury is what's going to win this game when they cast something huge that I can't deal with. And I start to get attacks with this guy. Yeah, I can make the same attack next turn. I'll take the pseudo 3-for-1. Because I get a Scion, I eat their board, like all sorts of good things are happening here. Why is my play space so small and theirs is so big? There we go. Alright, well now I'll Stone Fury it, because I don't want them to get the counters off of it. Dink. That gives them a 2-4, which still can't, excuse me, a 3-4, which can attack, but we can just block it with the Sifter. I don't want to win this game by draining them out with the Essence Depleter, but that may just be what we're doing. Blink. Lands are not ideal, but here we are. Not going to attack. He just trades this for that guy, and that's not good for us. Combat tricks would be good. Removal would be good. Basically, non-lands would be good. I think we hold any others just in case we get a Slide Runner. Not that it's super great here either, but... yeah, just keep on passing. No point in F6ing. We're ahead on time. And if he kills my Essence Depleter at instant speed, I would want to drain him. Would still like a thing that does a thing. Bink. Kozilek's Translator. That can't even attack, but it can give me extra colorless mana and speed up these drains. So let's do that. Means I need to use it once on my turn and once on his turn. Why did it tap? It's not supposed to tap. And why did it untap? I don't know. These are things I don't understand. Essence Depleter MVP? Pink. We are now draining for 2.5 a turn, I guess, and have Reality Hemorrhage online, so we'll eventually get there. We can kill the Lagak if we need to. Seed Guardian, don't care. Blink. Blink. Aggressor? I don't even know that that's worth playing. Like, I suppose if they have a Planner Outburst or something, or whatever the card is that blows up your board, we'd rather not have it. We do have one last drain with the Scion if we need it. I feel like that plus Reality Hemorrhage is probably enough to take this one home. But we'll see. They could have some amazing card, like it's a card that ramps out all your lands and gains you 1,000,000 life. Alright. Think. Think. Obligator. That probably wins the game. Especially with all the stuff we have in hand. Like, we take their Seed Guardian and get in damage, but I just don't feel the need to do that. Like, if they don't deal with this right now, they're dead. Even if they do, then we've got the Obligator to get in for the last few points. Smite the Monstrous on this guy? Sure. He's not the one killing you, but okay. He's dead. I'm not even sure an attack does anything for him. Alright, let's... bloop. 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 Doing it this way so if they do have instant speed life gain, like that Pulse of Marasa, we can respond to it with the Reality Hemorrhage, and we still win. That's right, got there. We are 2-0 and have a little bit of time before the next round. Sweet. Turns out the black-red deck's actually pretty good. That Essence Drainer really did some work there. But thanks for watching. We'll be back for round 3 of 4 in just a moment.